Well, this little video is sort of new, um, chronicling a new project that we're going to be working on for the next few years. We're going to be building a barndominium. My wife and I purchased some land a few years ago, and I kind of wanted to chronicle the build process, um, so that we could look back on it, but also maybe to help and inspire some people to sort of think outside of the box. If you're wanting to do your own build, this is something I've never really done, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that home building is really a lot of common sense. I mean, I understand there's codes and stuff to abide by, but it really is common sense. And we're going to be doing a debt-free build, so when we're done with it, we won't owe any money on it. And that's sort of counterintuitive to the system today, which is it's okay if you do it any other way, but this is the way we wanted to do it. It takes a little more time on the front end and more sweat equity, but when it's done, and I think it's going to be our forever home. So I think there's going to be a lot of videos to come on this build process, and maybe it'll help some people, and or maybe just be entertaining. I don't know. But anyway, I appreciate you tuning in and hope you enjoy. those pictures you saw were sort of the lead up to where the project is right now, all the work that we've done, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that in just a second here. So yeah, we brought in the driveway, we cut out the topsoil here, brought in some of this crusher run, and this was all trees, really from about, there was a little spot where you could drive in right here, but it was pretty much all trees back through here, all the way around, and this is where we got the dirt for the pad. We cut out a spot up here. We've got our containers, little RV where we can put our stuff in and eat and stay cool and warm. Cut this retaining wall out. This is where we brought out all the dirt and pushed it down the hill for the pad. And the next step is to put rock down here, but I made a berm around this build site and compacted each layer down, and then I'm going to fill it with rock, with good, inch and a half rock or so to make a good base. It goes up to grade in this corner here, but that's going to be where the house is going to sit. And as you saw some pictures of us putting this tank in, there's the tank site right there. The leach field we installed with our backhoe. I've done just a few of them, so we kind of knew what was going on there. We got the drain pipe coming down here, and we've got, I believe, 220 feet of field line running out there. So then we're going to shoot our drain pipe, our main line, at an angle right through here, where we'll tie in everything from there. And we used the infiltrator dome, so yeah, we were able to take the reduction. I think they wanted like 360 feet of line, but you saw in the pictures there, I think we only ended up needing to put in 220. So especially here in Tennessee, where it's real hilly and it's hard to get a lot of that line in there, definitely go with infiltrator domes. This is the third system that I've put in, just for some family. I helped them do it. And this is the pad that we built. We pushed all the dirt down from up here. I mean, that's 4 feet up or so there. And we did this, I built this berm here all the way around and compacted it in. We did this because we wanted this to be on a concrete slab. We didn't want, like a lot of houses in Tennessee that are sitting up on a block foundation up out of the ground, you got to walk upstairs to get into, because we really plan on this being our forever home. And it's great when it's all at ground level. So, I mean, we're going to have porches all the way around, and then you'll be able just to walk out and not have to take a step down anywhere. So that's why we did that. You can kind of see the berm here a little bit better. We just got a bunch of rain. I actually had to dig a trench out here to let the water drain out. But yeah, I built this berm here. That corner pin right there is going to be the corner of the porch. The house is actually going to be back in here. So it's going to be porch all the way around the edge, and then I've got this landing here. But this is all going to be filled up with rock. This ground here has actually been compacted for a few years because of COVID. When we first built most of this pad, prices of everything shot up, and we didn't go forward with the project until just recently. So that ground there is very compacted, even though it's fill. It's probably 2 feet of fill or so, and then another 2 feet is going to be around the edge here. Yeah, there was also a bunch of trees. You can see them down here. All the root balls of trees we knocked over, and that's not even counting a bunch that we just cut down and left the stumps like this. We've cut and burned so many trees, and we still got a pile. It just seems like we always got trees going in the pile. That's some poplar there that we may get milled. Yep. This is a huge oak tree that a friend of mine cut down. If If you need a good tree cutting service in the Nashville area, you can reach out. I can tell you who that is. But it started dying, and it was leaning toward the house. You can see the build site there. And we just wanted it down. I didn't have a saw big enough. I mean, I don't know if you can see the size of this tree. I mean, it's the base of this tree is probably 3 foot across there. It's a massive tree, but you can even see it started rotting in the middle. And I didn't have a saw big enough to cut it. So I said, well, he would have cut it up and done everything, but I said, well, just get it on the ground. That's all I'm concerned about now. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this thing just yet. I mean, it is oak. Might see if somebody wants it. I don't even know how I'd haul this thing away. I mean, this trunk is absolutely massive. Still even got more tree tops laying down here that are yet to be cut up. I gotta get to work on some of those. And we got a water tap. It's another thing we did out here. It's got the meter on it, all that good stuff. Call the water company, tell them where you want to put it. If they can get to it, I put a little frost-free hydrant on there so we could have some water. But the main line is running on the other side of the road here, so they had to drill under the road, which cost me about $1,200 for them to do, to get water over here, which we will eventually probably run down through here on the other side of the driveway and tie into the corner of the house back that way. And one of the big things we did was bring in this electric line from the neighbors there, which took a lot because they need 15 feet of clearance on either side of the line, over, sideways, under. Can't have anything hanging over. So they could set this pole, which you probably saw some pictures of that, and then come over to the temporary pole, which they've got some very specific specifications for this, where you got your kicker boards going. The box has got to be up to code. You got to have ground wires, and they've got it all mapped out, and then they come and tie into the temporary electric, so you've got some way to work out here. Well, that's the current state of the project right now. It's taken us a couple years to get where we're at, and COVID had something to do with that, lumber prices. But I mean, getting the land perk tested, getting all the trees cleared out, doing the excavation, bringing the road in, bringing the water in, bringing the electric in, getting the septic system put in, all that took a lot of time, and we pretty much just did it ourselves with some equipment we had. And this next step of the process is this weekend we're going up to my hometown of Rockford, Illinois, and getting some reclaimed lumber, some trailerfuls of reclaimed lumber from a hotel that my dad and I deconstructed. We pretty much dismantled it board by board, saved all the reclaimed lumber. We're going to be building the posts for the porches and some other things out of that reclaimed lumber, so we're going to go up there and prepare that, as well as making the wet set clips for those porch posts. We're going to be using a concrete pier system on the porches and the house for the pole barn. The clips for the pole barn we're actually going to get from a company in Missouri, concrete pier system. I'll tell you a little bit more about them. But we need to do all that before we pour the footers, auger out the holes for the piers, and you'll be able to see all that. But I appreciate you tuning in for this first video. There'll be more to come, so thank you.